Give me a few minutes and I'll show you how to launch a profitable call funnel for your coaching or consulting business from scratch. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of launching a call funnel without understanding the fundamentals that make a call funnel profitable. And by the end of this video, you're going to walk away with everything that we know that you need to launch a profitable call funnel for your coaching or consulting business from A to Z. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably don't know who I am, but you've definitely seen our work. We're behind the funnels for some of the biggest influencers you know, like Nero Knowledge, Jordan Welch, Mr. 48, TJ Altrese, Darren Fazio, and dozens more that I can't really mention because it's quite a lot, and we're on an NDA with a good amount of these people. And we've helped these businesses add well over $6 million in revenue. And I don't say that to brag, but I just want to give a baseline reason as to why you should probably sit there and listen to me. Now, with that being said, let's help you launch a profitable call funnel for your coaching or consulting business in the next few minutes. So, number one is your good old ads. Now, the first 5 seconds of your ads are the most important, and this is usually called the hook of the ad because this is where you get to draw people in. And again, a lot of people overcomplicate this and like try to use, some weird copywriting trick or all of this stuff, but you can be very direct in your hooks. Like you can be very offer forward and tell people, hey, this is what, we offer. In our case, we could say something like, hey, do you need a funnel right now? Or do you need, a funnel? Are you trying to launch something, or your ads not scaling profitable due to your funnel? Many other reasons. So you can be very, very forward in your ads if you want to hit the direct in-market buyer. So an in-market buyer is someone who is in the markets actively looking for a solution. They're not someone who's going to need the product or service down the line. They're someone who needs it right now. And those are the people that you want to go after. If you actually want to have, lower CPMs and actually cheaper cost per calls, you want to be going after all of these people when you first launch your campaign. That's something to keep in mind. Now, with that being said, there's many different types of ads that you could create. You could create, authority-based ads. You could also create stalker type ads. And again, hopefully Cam doesn't fucking kill me for this. But again, fortunate to be, in some killer groups where, we talk about a lot of this stuff at a very high level. And again, obviously not going to share most of that information here, but basically you can create hooks that make people feel like they're being stalked. So hook that make them feel like, hey, you've been doing this. When you wake up in the morning, let's feel the pain in your back. And, this pain is like a very huge source of discomfort for you when you wake up in the morning. And like, basically it's like adding so much context to the ad to the point where the prospect feels like they're being stalked, right? These ads are extremely effective, and they can also hit the in-market buyer because they're explaining the exact situation that they're in right now. So in ads as well, don't make people feel stupid. People like to say, oh, this is the BBB mechanism, or this is the G transformation unique mechanism. Like, bro, just say, hey, we do this by building a complete cold traffic optimized funnel if you're selling a service like me, or, we do this by selling AI sales products, for example. So don't make people feel stupid. Just be very direct. It's 2025, and even going into the future, people are going to, they can sniff out the BS. It's very easy. Another thing as well to notice, when you're making your ads, you need to break the current beliefs of the viewer using something called cognitive dissonance. And again, shout out to Cam. I actually learned this from him. And it's basically a way to, give two distinct arguments, or not actually two distinct arguments, but like presenting an argument for something that they hold the belief in, so that, you have to force them. Like when the brain hears two opposing arguments, it has to make a choice of one or the other. So when you tell someone, hey, Coca-Cola is bad for you, and they think Coca-Cola is good for them, that immediately creates something called cognitive dissonance in their brain, and they have to resolve that, or they can move forward to the next decision. So if you present an argument that says Coca-Cola is bad for you, you have to now present an argument that supports, or actually an explanation that supports, the argument that you've proposed. And that way you can create a convincing argument for why Coca-Cola is, bad for a person. So that's basically using cognitive dissonance and using that to break the beliefs that people currently hold, because that could be something that is holding them back. So if you don't resolve those things, or if you don't break those beliefs, it's going to be very difficult for them to move forward. And even if they get to the point where they're on a sales call, for example, they're not going to be able to move forward because they have these beliefs, like all these beliefs that are going to be holding them back. So you need to use cognitive dissonance is there for you to use. And then again, like I said, explain your mechanism in clear terms. Don't do the vague mechanism that a lot of people do. And then build your CTA around the outcome. Not just visiting the page. Don't just say, hey, click the below button, visit the next page. Explain like, okay, so if you're finally ready to, lose weight, if you're finally ready to, use the solution that is going to help you get, specific outcome, click the below button below, go to the next page, and then I'll explain the price in details and how this can work for you, or how this specific solution can work for your business. And this way they know exactly what they're getting into if there's someone who actually, watched the hook and is now watching the entirety of the ad. And also one more thing as well is like film in a good environment, right? You watching this video, your coach, consultant, your B2B business owner, an agency owner, and a lot of you guys can resonate with the whiteboard, right? A lot of you guys have a whiteboard in your offices. So when you see someone in a setting like this with a mic, a Shure mic, microphone, you see some of the quotes in the background there, it makes you feel like, oh, I feel like I can probably relate to this person because this person is in a very familiar environment, if that makes sense. So think about, a realtor selling, let's say a realtor selling luxury real estate, for example. If he was in this type of room, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. Think about if he was in like let's say in a mansion or something, and he's basically selling in the mansion and filming the ad in the mansion. It's going to make a lot more sense, and it's going to be a lot more appealing to someone who is the ICP for that kind of offer. So you need to strongly consider your environment and also film in very good environments, because that's just the way you get to, again, when people see an ad, the first thing that they see is the environment, and our brain can process like images and videos, visuals faster than words or whatever is being said. So you need to make sure that it's very congruent. I'm about to actually add some wall panels right there and also add like a bookshelf, because all of these things are stuff that people that I'm selling to actually resonate with. So pay good attention to that. Again, we can come back to the ads and maybe talk about a few things, but that's the first thing. Those are some of the first things that you need to know. Then number 2 is your landing page and the congruency between your landing page and the ads. And basically all you're doing in your landing page is, remember how we talked about the ads, the first 5 seconds of the ads being the most important part of the ad. That's the same way the above the fold is the most important part of your landing page. So you need to make sure, number 1, your landing page has 1-to-1 congruency with your ad. Your ad shouldn't say something else and then your landing page is saying something else. It should say the exact same thing. And the only section with guaranteed view time is your above the fold, because a lot of people spend time here, and I've looked at heat maps and session recordings. About 60% of people stop at the above the fold. So it makes sense that you give them everything that they need to know about the offer, social proof, what the offer is, the VSL, going into the mechanism and all of that good stuff. But give them everything that they need in order to make an informed decision, which is most likely going to be booking a call or filling out an application to speak with your team. So it's not the goal of the landing page or the above the fold. It's not to create intrigue. A lot of people think, hey, I need to create intrigue first in the headline and then get them to watch the VSL. And then after they watch the VSL, can I click the button? So it rarely happens like that. People don't consume landing pages like, personally, I don't watch any VSLs whatsoever. Like if I'm watching a VSL, it's maybe because I want to learn some things for the VSL, but I don't watch VSLs for any reason. Like I really don't care about watching VSLs, right? And I don't even read page. Like I think I may be categorized as, more of a reader when it comes to landing pages than, someone who consumes VSLs, to be honest. So again, that's just to show you that people consume information in very different ways. So you have to make sure that you're building the page in a way where they have all of the information they need without having to, you don't have to lock some of the information in like a specific medium like a VSL. You have to make sure all of the information is available for them to take action. So your headline should be very direct with the outcome that they get. The VSL should go in depth into the outcome. And again, something that we've seen that's working really well is have, a CTA within the first 2-3 minutes of your VSL, because if someone chooses the word VSL, which means they probably have higher intent, and if you want to maximize all of that intent, you need to make sure you have the CTA early around 20-30% into the video, because that's like where that you'll get like a lot of people are going to get to like 20-30% of that video. So that's what you need to be doing. Again, there's something called action identifiers, and again, you might not even care about this stuff, but basically just thinking about what your audience is doing right now. What are they doing right now? Use all of that stuff on your landing page, in your eyebrow, your headline. Use all of that stuff. If your audience is, if they're living in their mom's basement, playing games or doing stuff, like use that. If they're, currently slaving away at the 9-to-5 job, use that. If they're working at McDonald's, use that. If they're, tweaking funnels and doing all this stuff, if they're spending $300 a day on Meta ads, use all of that stuff in your copy, right? Those are called identifiers. Problem identifiers are basically the same thing, just what are the problems that they're experiencing right now. So all of that information that they need to take an action should be in your headline complex, which is your eyebrow, your headline, your subheadline, and your VSL. Again, you might not care about all of this stuff, but I'm just explaining just so you get the, the core fundamentals behind building a profitable call funnel. And again, when we're talking about, explaining the problems of your prospects, a lot of people think, hey, I'm trying to make this person cry. I'm trying to, if you make someone cry on your landing page, I don't know, but logically to me, it doesn't feel like, they would want to be that vulnerable and then, booking a call with you. Unless it's like, let's say a product where they just make a direct purchase that, helps them, like a course on info product, then there may be a possibility of them them, buying the product, maybe possible. But again, like if you're using if it feels like you're attacking them, you're going to lose a lot of prospects because people don't want to feel like they're being attacked. You rather use a straw man. So use someone else to make an analogy and then don't even compare that to their situation. Like just explain what the other person is going through, but them reading it can resonate with it because it's basically, the exact situation that they're in. So that's something that I've learned about, the problems, and also, lead people smoothly into your benefits, and also make your landing pages very skimmable as well, because the more skimmable your landing page is, the higher consumption you're going to get, because people don't want to read the entire landing page. But if people can skim through your landing page and still understand what the offer is, still understand your value proposition, the problems and the solutions, then you have a good landing page, right? Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for you to get people to convert because no one is reading the entire landing page. That's what you need to keep in mind. Now, next one here is your back-end nurture and framing. And this is where a lot of people really drop the ball. People build a funnel and they just stop once the person books a call. But this is where you actually start to lose the sale if you never contact people who, stop at this step, right? And even when I started running ads, I don't know if I made that mistake, but probably did, because everyone messes up like when they're gonna start the marketing and everything. So you need to make sure that you have your back-end nurture and framing in place, right? A lot of people send, selfish, generic questions, and most of them realistically is like out of ignorance. I did the same out of ignorance. So you should pay extreme attention to everything that happens after someone books a call or fills an application, right? Because every prospect, think about it, every prospect is going to land on your confirmation page. So this is prime real estate to frame and educate your prospect, right? If every single person is going to land there, then you better have, breakout videos that are going to answer specific objections, whether that be 6 or 12, 16, however many it is, however many they are. Just make sure that you have, enough information there that is going to help them do their due diligence, because no one is going to pay you $5,000 without conducting their research. No one. It's not happening. Zero, especially in 2025 and beyond. No one is going to do that. So you need to make sure that, you're giving them clear directions. You're giving them you can redirect. Something I'm testing right now is like redirecting people to the YouTube, because I have a lot of content on YouTube. So to go watch you, build more likeness and trust for you. And that way you get to build up a lot of trust before the sales call, essentially. So another thing is your back-end nurture sequence and things that the salespeople are saying or they're saying to the prospects. And it's actually a very good practice to send selfie videos to prospects when they send in an application or when they book in a call, because that way it increases the human touch. A lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people just send text, which, can be effective, but sending a video introduction actually works way better than just sending a text, because it just when a person plays video, they see, oh, he recorded a video and he said his name and he said he's going to call me. So, it puts them in a different frame. It makes them feel like they owe you. It makes them feel like they have to pick up the call when you eventually call it. They have to show up to the call if they actually watch the video and consume the message that you have in the video. And also what you say in the video actually matters. Usually when we're sending the first video, it's like, hey, just want to see, we saw that your call came in and can you confirm this time? And also what resources can we send to you to help you make an informed decision, or what resources do you need before you come on the call? So these are things that you need to train your salespeople on, or even train yourself on if you're the only person who is, involved in your marketing activity right now. If you send generic messages like, oh, what are you struggling with right now? Or please confirm your call by 3 p.m. EST tomorrow. No one is going to reply to that, right? You can use something called bait questions. So you can ask people, hey, very direct questions, but very obvious questions as well, just to get them to respond. Even if it's a yes or a no, we just want to get them to respond. That's the goal of a bait question. So you need to have a lot of these things in place. And again, I can break down everything here because it will end up being like a 1-hour video, but make sure you're paying attention to your back-end nurture, your confirmation page, your back-end nurture sequence, which is the emails that go out after someone books in a call. You need to make sure these emails are very strategic. These emails push urgency, give them reasons to show up, give them reasons why they need to buy your offer or service right now instead of later, right? And again, you can weave in all of these things into your ads as well. It's something that is extremely important and is going to determine a lot of the performance that you get from your ads. It's just how much urgency are you pushing through the message, because people are filling out these applications because they need help, but some people don't have the right amount of urgency because feel like, oh, maybe I can hop on this call, see what this is about, but I'm not sure if I'm going to take action on this right now. You need to be pushing a lot of urgency and just making sure that people know that they need this stuff right now. So pay attention to your backend nurture sequence. Don't send generic, selfish questions. Make sure you have emails that are very tailored. And the last thing that we're going to talk about here is media buying. Now, I've seen a lot of things, floating around about, hey, media buying doesn't matter, all of this good stuff. In my opinion, I think media buying still really matters. Maybe not as, if you're trying to launch a campaign, it's obviously not that difficult to launch a campaign. But again, if you want to be profitable, you need to pay attention to what's working with within the algorithm, right? Because the algorithm changes, and this is basically just a machine learning algorithm, and it adapts and it changes, and the developers working behind this thing, and the publish updates that are going to help you understand the inner workings of the algorithm, to put it that way, right? And you need to pay attention to what those updates are, and also, be connected to other marketers as well, so you know what's working in the industry. In the actual ad manager, you know what structure to use. Should you use a CBO? Should you use an ABO? Should you use, dynamic creative or individual ads? You need to know all these things, and you need to know, what to turn off and what to leave on, because there are a lot of options there that are just going to, quite honestly, just drain your money. So you need to make sure that you're doing the right things. You need to understand all of this tech when it comes to the media buying side of things. And not a lot of you, there's a push for people to say, oh, media buying doesn't matter. And yes, it's not like an extremely high leverage skill, but it's still a very important skill that you need to know, right? You need to understand it. You need to pay attention. You need to be updated with everything that's happening in terms of, the platform that you're using and some of the settings that affect results and how you should structure things, how you should structure campaigns and ad sets. And there's a lot of things that we could obviously go over here, but I think we've covered like a lot of it. So I hope you got value from this video. I genuinely hope you got value from this video. And if you did, leave a comment, like, subscribe. And if you need someone to build out your entire funnel from start to finish, from A to Z, including your ads, your landing pages, your VSLs, your CRM, all of your backend nurture systems, and even your media buying for 30 days, just click the link in the description, book a call with me, and I'll see if and how we can help you. We only work with specific types of businesses doing at a minimum $30,000 a month, because that's where we usually see, potential for scale, especially if a business is a coaching or consulting business, or even an agency business as well, or B2B business. So we also have, multiple different products. We have the Done With You. We also have the Done With You. We have the Done For You. We also have the DIY, which is the course. So any one of these options could be the one for you. And if it's not, then I hope you keep getting value from the videos that I drop, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care. Cheers.